All right. So, hi. I'm Scott's Gets Case Files, and we're doing a one shot of Urban Shadows Second Edition tonight. And with me, as always, are my lovely players, and they're in true hydrated form tonight. I'm very impressed, actually. So yeah, let's start by saying hi to Jason and his carafe, which he's going to chug right in front of us. Chug, 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 chug. He can do this. Chug. Oh my god, that's actually like a nadir. Stop. Okay, stop, stop. Okay, thank you. Don't do that.
Hi. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. And next we have Steve. Less hydrated, but still Steve.
Well, I'm drinking my own dehydration of Diet Coke, so.
Hey, whatever works for you. Choose your poison. I'm all down with that. And next we have Danielle.
Hello.
Who just filled a huge carafe of water. Oh my. She's not messing around with the hydration, peeps. Not at all. Cool. Good to see you again, Danielle.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So she's here for this two shot. And, oh my god, fan favorite, Cassie Mouse is joining us.
Hello, peoples. I have returned at this late moment.
Yes, like a phoenix from the ashes. Cassie returns to Scott's Case Files. Yes. And all cheered and rejoiced. That's the way it works. So yeah, as you can see, I'm doing my normal, what do you call it, one-shot setup here. It's kind of a no-frills thing. One shots, two shots are meant to be kind of, just doing it. When Urban Shadows fully releases this November, December, my intent is to actually do a second campaign of it, an extended campaign, not just one season of 10, but more. How much more, I'm not sure yet. But in the meantime, I figured why not do a one shot or two shot since we have some space to fill. Says because Bedlam Hall is on a 2-week hiatus as a 33% of the Bedlam Hall team is away on vacation. And sad but true, vacation is cooler than Scott's Case Files. I get that. That's all right. It's not, I don't have the kind of ego where that kind of thing matters. It's good. It's good. I'm fine. I really am fine. I've talked to people.
I don't know how they got vacation in their contract. Vacation was certainly not in my contract with the Malbanes.
Not at all.
Tomfoolery is this?
You have a contract?
You're getting paid for this? Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, good time to do a one shot, two shot, and good time to bring some other people on, say hey. And yeah, so here we are. So Urban Shadows, great game. I'm glad to see a second edition coming out. I went all in on the Kickstarter and got the maximum without being like a game shop. So I got all the stuff coming way, in November, December. But that's the way to go. Anyway, in the meantime, they're really good about offering a bunch of quick starts that are pretty much just out there to be used. I have one, so I figured I'd do the thing. And they're constantly updating it, trying new things. We're all basically play testing for the final release, so it's not a complete thing. And I do like a bunch of the changes they made. So, with that being said. I want to say that at least several of you have picked out your playbooks. Let's see here. And again, they are giving out the character sheets, but they aren't really. I mean, I don't want to basically put it all on the stream only because again, it's a one shot. So we'll be doing the die rolling here on the screen, and then. We'll be looking at the quick start otherwise follow along. I'll actually get a link for the actual quick start that you can get online and pop that out there on the YouTube version of this, but otherwise Google it. It's out there. Cool. So anyway, see Jason, what were you looking at as your playbook?
Well, I mean, things have been a little hairy around here for the last while. It's practically driven me mad barking at the moon. So obviously I had to be a weregerbil.
A weird gerbil.
Oh
They
wait,
like
what?
get little
Wait,
gnostics and
wait. Gerbil's not a play. God Scott, you misrepresented this game to me. There's only a wolf in here.
yes, I'm sorry. The gerbil, though fun and floofy, was not meant to be in Urban Shadows. So I'm afraid you'll have
It's
to
all
stick with the wolf.
your fault.
It's mostly my fault, yes. Cool. So as a wolf, you automatically get the comes with the territory move. So if you're actively patrolling a territory when time passes or at the start of a game, roll blood. And basically this is a you control the territory type of move. Is it going to hurt you? Is it going to give you a benefit? You know, where you're going to get something out of the fact that you have your territory? That kind of thing. One change they have made, just looking at this just kind of offhandedly, is they made it a whole lot easier to jump into wolf form. Before you actually had to have like actual corruption moves. Now there's like a let it out where you can actually do that. And again, normally my streams are very much a teaching stream, not so much here because this is a one shot. So if you don't know what let it out is, look for the thing.
I will say,
Google.
I really appreciate them spelling out some abilities for the let it out for each class or for each playbook.
Yeah, and,
You know,
and
before
I
it was like, oh, extend your senses, and it's like, well, that's not really concrete.
right. I mean, on one hand, I like it. On the other hand, I think it takes a little of that creativity, you know, like
Maybe.
bringing the mythos that you want into the game. But I totally may understand why they decided to go that direction. So that makes sense. So cool. Have you already drawn stuff up? Do you know what you want out of this character?
I
That kind
have
of thing.
I have a pretty good idea of which direction I was going. Which was I might as well lean into it and go with the hulking bruiser. Get up into Wolfman shape and just be bigger than an entire line of linebackers, and punch the enemies, punch the building, punch the sky,
You punch the
everything.
things and intimidate them at the same time. Good job. Awesome. Well, I'll let you finish that I'll go through all of you, and then my plan is to kind of just go through basic rules so that any viewers know what actually is happening, kind of, sort of. And while I'm doing that, you can ignore me, as Jason always does, and continue on to fill out your character sheets and that kind of. Again, this is so easy. I've done one shots at cons, and it's just this goes really fast. In fact, I'm actually gonna, since this is a two shot, I figure we'll actually do the go through the process of creating debts on each other, which I normally skip for one shots and two shots. So a little get to know your character type of thing. So yeah, cool. So do your thing, please, Jason. Steve.
Yeah, working on my character sheet. So
Steve, you're looking at the imp, if I recall.
I am looking at the imp.
Awesome. And how does the imp look back at you?
I am just looking at both the schemes and the establishment bits, so I don't have exactly what sort of services he's going to offer.
Mhm.
But I am using a pretty crazy picture of Steve Buscemi as the character, so I'm trying to choose appropriate items.
Interesting. Cool. All right, so the imp is basically, let's see, not all demons serve old masters. Some, known as imps, have stolen their freedom through tricks and loopholes, and now juggle their scams and schemes in pursuit of a better life. There are some advantages to being underestimated. So yes, the imp is all about that. The business owner. Your move that you get is business
More the
usual.
business owner with aspirations to be a full-fledged demon.
Don't we all, though? In essence, when you get down to it, are we all trying to be the best demon we can be? Mostly. So yeah. Maybe it's just me. Sorry, I don't want to speak for everybody. So yeah, your move is business as usual. When time passes, or at the start of the game, roll with mind. A lot of the time passes stuff we won't worry about, only because it's two shot. But this looks like a good one. This end, of course, the wolf domain. On a hit, your usual operations provide an opportunity to advance one of your schemes or generate a new scheme. So that's interesting. So yeah, it's all about schemes, like, some kind of, pyramid type stuff, all that kind of good, whatever makes money. So that's cool. So yeah, that's it. You're a fledgling wannabe full-on demon who hopes to someday have minions of their very own. Which brings me full circle back to, aren't we just all trying to be our best demon?
I believe one of my services is going to be as a cleaner.
Oh, nice.
And I don't mean janitor.
You don't mean janitor. The difference is subtle. He means he fixes up assassination scenes and other crimes, just so those of you who are law-abiding.
More the supernatural issues.
Exactly.
The vampire that was a little too thirsty. The wolf that was a little bit too punchy.
A little too punchy. Oh, too funny. Awesome.
I am not too punchy. I have not had anything to drink tonight.
Killing me. And then we have Janelle, who I believe you're looking at Wizard, yes?
Yes, I'm looking at the Wizard.
Let's see, where is the Wizard?
It's right before the
page.
in the playbook in the quick start.
45, 46.
Oh, thank you. Come on now.
Is anyone else?
Yeah, the other thing's it's out of order. It's out of order. The veteran.
Is anyone else aggravated by the veteran being after the wolf?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I'm confused.
I have a feeling they added that.
No comment.
Hunter fair. So Wizard, which is just what you think it is. Mages are among the deadliest and most powerful of all humans. The ability to reshape the world around them grants tremendous powers, but nothing corrupts quite like power. Which few know better than Danielle.
Oh God, I hope not. I really enjoyed the mind focus and especially the sanctum that you get as part of the.
Ooh, that is cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Cool. Yeah, and basically the sanctum is a place where they can study, make new spells, do stuff. It's the wizard's form of the veteran's workshop, for all intents and purposes. And yeah, it's pretty neat. So yeah, cool. Let's see here. Awesome. And there's like, let's see what your main move is. Yeah, channeling. So yeah, wizards channel. So when you channel and collect your magics, roll a spirit on a 10 plus, hold 3, blah blah blah, and basically you spend hold, which we'll get into as rules go on for those of you who don't know what all that's all about. Hold is something you generate, and then points that you can then spend on effects. In the case of the wizard, the effects are spells, pretty much. So there's that. So that's pretty cool. We like that. So yeah, that's the wizard, and it's going to be pretty cool if she doesn't blow up. There's always that possibility. Explosion, self-immolation on accident. Excellent. Okay, cool. How about Kassemeister? What's gelling for you? What do you see there? You're a little late to the game, but I'm glad you were able to get to the game. So what are you looking at that's interesting?
I was thinking about going with the tainted. That would be fun.
Ooh, a tainted and an imp.
Ooh.
Long lost siblings.
A lot of wild.
Yeah. Well, that was to be expected from any of our campaigns.
Exactly.
Wild. Yeah, so the tainted is literally someone who has sold their soul, and they get power, and in exchange, the demon gets their soul, and they're under the thumb of the demon. But for that, and all the duties that they perform for the demon, they do get quite a bit, so that's pretty cool. We like that.
Yes.
Let's see. And the tainted move is the devil inside, which is actually assuming your demonic freaking form, not to be trifled with, just like the wolf. So you can gain armor, heal, senses, flight. This is all the demon stuff you've ever wanted to do is in the tainted. It's good times. So there's that. So that's pretty cool. We like that. Let's see here. Whew. So yeah, good times. So I'm also going to have you, just because it's a 2-shot, why don't you take one? I'll take one corruption advance.
What?
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 Like you weren't going to already get a corruption advance during play. Don't You can't fool me.
You know, it is entirely possible to go a session without one.
It is entirely possible. Quite. But is
I
it
also
fun?
got
Debatable.
3 or 4 in one session, one game.
Well, in 2 shots, you can always count on everybody just going for all the corruption spends.
Well, from doing one-shots of Blades in the Dark, I learned a very important thing for one-shots, or I guess a 2-shot. In a regular game, they recommend drive your character as if they were a stolen car. For a one-shot, the recommendation is drive your character as if they were a stolen car on fire. Because, I mean, it's the perverse incentive, but there's no long-term consequences, right?
True.
Unless, of course, we plan to keep these characters and bring them forward to the Urban Shadows campaign later on.
Who can say? So much can happen. And the thing is, by the time that happens, there's actually another literal, you could double the amount of playbooks that are going to be available when the game goes live. So many possibilities. I think in the Kickstarter we hit like all the what they call it, stretch goals. And they gave us the final one, which was the Ancient, which basically is a creature who was a god back when and has been pretty much forgotten about, but is still a god type of thing. So a lot of cool stuff like that, stuff that was included in later books for the first edition, like the Revenant and the Expert. I think, is that what he's called? I forget. Anyway, not important, but there's a whole lot of playbooks that aren't even here. But something to think about. Should you be interested in the actual campaign when it comes, and who knows what your lives are going to be like? Who knows what my life is going to be like? Who can say by November, December? Crazy talk. I don't even remember what I had for dinner last night, much less what I'm having for dinner tomorrow night. I don't even want to think about it. So awesome. So yeah, why don't you guys fill out your sheets, do your thing. And I'll kind of go over some basics. You can listen to me in the background, whatever. It's for you and the viewers' benefit. But basically, I'm going to go over basic stats and then the basic moves, which are, again, very important. I love this game for 2 main reasons. 1, I don't have to roll any dice. And 2, I really don't have to create any NPCs. At least in the first edition, it made that a lot easier. You guys did all the work for me, but so I get to basically ask you about NPCs and stuff like that. So little game master's dream there. So let's start with the basic stats. So you have blood, heart, mind, spirit. Blood is basically breaking and hurting things, and also basically. Basically how your character is in danger, how tough you are. Heart, your cult of personality, as the saying goes, your charisma, etc. Mind, your critical thinking, observation, your general perception, how good you are at deceiving others as well as not being deceived. And spirit is your gauges, kind of like your other. This is your connection to the supernatural, your inner darkness or light, as you like, and also how you do under great pressure. So there's no stat that's not important. but there's only 4 of them. So still, you have to distribute your stuff. And as Danielle kind of pointed out earlier, one of the changes between first edition and second is that stats only go up using corruption advances. There is no normal advance that, at least that I've noticed, that gives a plus to any of these stats. What you start with is what you have until you start gaining corruption or using moves that temporarily add to these things.
There are a couple of playbook moves that do give a permanent increase, but there are only a couple of them.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was very much their intent. They wanted to keep things a little more gritty, as opposed to having like 3s, here and there and that kind of thing. I think they were still good about that in the first edition, but I get the feeling that they want a grittier feel in terms of percentage chance for things to happen and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like the Tainted has a core move, Cold as Ice, take +1 blood, max 3. So,
right.
But yeah, there are very, very few that do that.
There are also very, very few classes or that allow you to take moves from other archetypes. So because I'm a wizard, I have 2 opportunities to take a move from another class. Or archetype. But I haven't noticed any other archetypes that allow that.
Wolf allows that once. Under advances.
Yeah, that's a really good observation too. It's like, again, I think they're trying to firm you up in your playbook, definitely, and give you a little something to do elsewise. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Vampire can take 2, but that kind of makes sense, being an old vampire.
Cool. All right, let's do basic moves. So, the main like damage doer is Turn to Violence, which is different from Beat 'em Up, or I forgot what the heck it was, but
Kick some ass.
What's that?
Kick some ass.
Oh, kick some ass. Yes, we're allowed to say that now. I'm a mature stream, so we can say ass and shit and stuff. Fuck, go ahead, do it. So, yeah, so Turn to Violence is different than Kick Some Ass in that there is more danger for you. So yeah, when you turn to violence, you roll blood. On a hit, you inflict harm as established, and your opponent chooses 1. So your opponent always gets to choose 1 of the things, which is they inflict harm on you, they put you in a bad spot, or they create an opening to flee for themselves or whoever. So a 10 gets you, it doesn't get you out of that. What it does is it gives you the ability to do more on your own side. So more damage, take something from them, create an opportunity for an ally, that kind of thing. So they've made combat more dangerous potentially, depending on how the MC is feeling that at that moment of the die roll. But yeah, it's definitely more dangerous, and I kind of saw some discussion on their Discord about how Turn to Violence is named that because this whole game is theoretically about social negotiations and factions and drama and stuff like that. So it takes a bit to turn to violence, but once you do, you better be committed because you're probably going to get hurt yourself. So very interesting. So yeah, Turn to Violence, and that's rolling with blood. Escaping is also rolling with blood, and basically, in order to escape, the trigger is when you take advantage of an opening. So in order to escape, to make the escape move, you have to already have an opening. So for those who have or have not played Powered by the Apocalypse stuff, every move is made up of kind of like a trigger statement, and then once it's triggered, what to do with that. In this case, again, the trigger is taking advantage of an opening. So without an opening, that move will not go, and that kind of thing. Let's see. Then we have Persuade an NPC, and Persuade NPC is pretty cool. Again, I don't roll, so the PCs aren't like trying to reason back or negotiate back or whatever. It's all about your role. So when you persuade an NPC with seduction, promises, or threats, and again, here's the trigger, you have to have some kind of leverage on them. It can't just be, a walk up to them and say, hey, I want this from you and I'm going to trigger persuade. No. You need to actually have some kind of leverage on them, something that makes them, want to do what you want them to do. And until you've satisfied that, you cannot persuade an NPC. So on a hit, they see your point, do as you ask. 7 to 9, they counter your offer or demand a payment, that kind of thing. And of course, you can cash in the debts that you might have with them in order to make this an easier roll potentially for you. But yeah, figure someone out. And this is literally anyone. So this is player characters and non-player characters. When you try to figure someone out, that's the trigger. Like you're taking some time to observe them, watch what they're doing, or that kind of thing. Get an idea of questioning, interrogating. You can roll this with mind, and basically allows you to ask from a series of questions. So pretty cool. And it's amazing what you can get out of those questions. Especially as pertained, again, the mechanics are pushing you back into the role-playing here, so it's all about this political stuff, this social stuff that you're trying to get information on. So it's cool stuff. I like it a lot. So mislead, distract, or trick. This is anything from using stealth to, lying to somebody to whatever. Doing a magic trick, I suppose. Roll with mind, and you can fool whoever you're working with potentially, or not. Keep your cool. This is kind of the all-encompassing stuff hits the fan roll, or I don't have another move, but this should trigger a move type of move. So when things get real, and you keep your cool, tell the MC the situation you want to avoid and roll with spirit. On a 10+, all is well. On a 7 to 9, the MC will tell you what it's going to cost you. So I like this and other Powered by the Apocalypse games that do stuff like this, where basically it's like, okay, so, Cassie, you rolled an 8 on this thing. You are being shot at and you're trying not to be shot. That's the situation you're trying to avoid. Okay, you can. So you can totally escape this as long as you're cool with Steve's character getting shot right behind you because he's standing right there. So if basically I give you an if. So if that is acceptable to you, the move carries out. You are safe and Steve gets hurt. You can also choose to say, no, I don't want to pay the price. And, okay, well, that's fine. Well, then you get shot. So it gives me as the MC some interesting situations to create and some judgments for you to make and, what's deciding what's important and what's not and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. Let It Out is basically powers of your playbook that aren't specifically covered by moves. They've now made a list of them, as I think Steve pointed out on stream earlier. It might have been before stream, but anyway, so each playbook has its own abilities that are now on a list, whereas before it was very much stuff that your playbook could do. You make it up. You tell me. And I like that in the sense that Powered by the Apocalypse, and especially this game, is very much of we're creating the rules of the world as we go. What happens when a vampire gets staked, that kind of thing. We established that during play in the fiction. And kind of the cool part about the episode or the first edition version was it could be so vampires can hypnotize people, so I'm going to try to hypnotize someone and I'm going to let it out to do that, and without even looking at the vamp sheet, I'm not sure if that's there or not, but basically that kind of disallows that, though there's no reason not to necessarily go by that. I'm not kind of on the edge on that one. I don't know, let more be on the list as we see fit or not, or if it's made like that for a specific reason, but be that as it may, Let It Out lets you use those special powers with the large potential of getting corruption eventually leading to bad things, mostly for yourself and others. And those are the basic moves. So again, I don't roll any dice as the MC. The players are the only ones that roll. They'll be rolling 2d6s, plus or minus whatever a given stat is, and then we compare that. 2 to 6 is, or actually, I suppose you can technically go 0. So 0 to 6 is a miss. And note I did not say failure. It is not necessarily a failure. A miss is not necessarily a failure in Powered by the Apocalypse. And 7 through 9 is a partial success. So things happen, but type of situations. And a 10 plus is everything's great. Everything went just like you liked it. So that kind of thing. So let's see here. Let's go back. All right, Cassie, are you set? Do you have what you want?
I think I'm working it out.
Okay, cool. Let me know when you guys are ready. We'll take some time and do. I want you to have a det on each of the others. So we'll kind of, and then I'll give a little story between each of you. Like many Powered by the Apocalypse games, there are, strings and monster hearts, debts here. I forget offhand what the other was. What's that? Bonds. Yep. Yeah. So there's it's a built-in mechanical connection between you as characters. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So let's see. So there are other moves. Well, I'll wait to. I can see you guys are kind of still working on it. So let's continue on to circle moves. So circle moves used to be called faction moves. So faction in first edition was basically the large groups: mortals, knight, wild, and power. Those are the 4 main factions, if you will. Now, in second edition, they've changed the word faction to circle. And then, so what used to be a faction is now a circle. So those large groups of kind of playbook associations are the circles. And factions are more what we would generally think of when we're thinking of a faction. It's like a faction within the circle. So a vampire clan in the city, a wolf pack, that kind of good stuff is the most common examples of that. So circle moves are, and this is what you can do for, and anybody can also do. So put a name to a face. So this is how basically we start introducing NPCs. Well, it's one of the ways. So either you see them and you want the name, or you hear a name and you can kind of, again, identify them when that comes around. So in order to be putting a name to a face, they have to have some kind of status within their circle. We're not just talking little know-nothing minions, but important people you'll know. Hit the streets. So interesting. I love this move. It was the first one that really intrigued me in the first edition. So when you hit the streets to get what you need, name who you're going to and roll with their circle. On a hit, they're available and have the stuff. On a 7 to 9, choose one. So basically this is how you get information and things. There isn't a money system outside of debts in this game. So things become just all about exchanging debts back and forth, or getting people to give you stuff without debts and stuff like that. So, and this is also a big way to create NPCs. And again, it's all created by the players. And you actually have to hit the streets. And that's something I intend to enforce going on. Some people have been known to do, self-calls are acceptable, but I really like the feel of the fact that Urban Shadows is very much an in-person type of social thing, and to kind of take that away takes a little away some of the fun, plus having to get to the person. There's study a place of power. When you study a sanctuary, gathering spot, or place of power, roll the circle, and you can basically learn about it potentially. And this is used by me to kind of a move that I can use to give you information about places and things you're looking for. You'll notice there is no lock-picking move. There is no hacking move. Instead, you will try to study a place of power type of thing, and we'll see how you do there, or some other moves depending on the situation, but you get the idea. And then there's rumors. This is kind of like after some time, as time passes, and this is a kind of move that's actually meant to be done like between sessions or when we do skip a decent amount of time inside a given session. This is a way for kind of things to build in the city. In first edition, we had the intro move, which I loved, but all of my players dreaded, in which someone would pick one of the, at the time, factions, circles for you, and you had to come up with you as a player had to come up with a rumor or a situation that your player or character was involved in with this faction. And what that would do is it would basically create the plot for me. I never, as I'm very proud of saying, in the first edition, I never created a plot line. I just moved the chess pieces that the players themselves created. I did nothing except make logical decisions based on their NPCs that they created and the situations they created. So with this, it's more kind of putting it more back on me to kind of create situations that I want you to move in and that kind of thing, which I get, but I'm certainly going to miss my intro move. And things get more advanced as, like, we get on between sessions. Now you have the city makes a move, the faction moves and stuff like that. So we won't get into that here. That's way too advanced. But you also, last thing I want to cover before we kind of go towards creating debts in each other is, appropriately, debt moves. So this is how you get NPCs and PCs to do what you want them to do. I like it in the sense that the system gives you, as a player, agency. It's a way to kind of give you the ability to make people do things, but without making them like, oh, you failed the roll and now you have to do this thing. So instead, it's a carrot and the stick kind of thing. Like, for example, for a PC, let's see here. Where is it? When you catch that, right? Okay, so make it PC. And where is the rule? Where is it? Yeah, so you cash in debt and you can make someone to do thing. So to get out of it, they have the ability to refuse to honor the debt. So this is where the stick and the carrot come in. So if for example, Steve is trying to call in a debt with Jason's character, Jason's character can say, well, yeah, what you're asking is just too much and I don't want to do it. So, which triggers the refuse to honor a debt move. You roll the difference in stats between you and the creditor. On a hit, you weasel out of the obligation for now, but still owe a debt. On a partial success, you owe them additional debt or mark corruption. On a miss, you can't avoid the noose. Either honor the debt or erase all debts owed to you by their circle and get -1. So basically, you can, if they want you to do something, you can say yes and accept the debt that you're being repaid, or you can not. And again, it's still, even getting a miss on this roll still gives you options. There is no point where it says you have to do the thing they want you to do. There does come a point where it says you either do the thing they want you to do or you pay a big price. And if you're willing to do that, cool. And there might be a situation where that happens. So yeah, there you go. Debt moves. And this is how PC, like, to cash in a debt with PC, you can get them to answer a question honestly, do a favor at moderate cost, lend a hand in your efforts, get in the way of someone else, erase a debt they hold on someone else, or give you a debt they hold on someone else. And for NPCs, you can have them answer a question honestly, arrange a meeting with an NPC in their circle, grant you a worthy boon or useful gift, erase a debt they hold on someone, or give you a debt they hold on someone. So this is all, you can see this currency of debts happening here. That's the reason there's no like money thing here. So very cool. And as a note, we'll be using the hub that's located here. I don't think I want to give so much time where we totally establish much there, but second edition comes up with hubs. Basically, it's, whereas before you had to kind of figure out a reason for people to be involved with each other, and the idea of the hub is it gives you the various characters something in common where it only makes sense that they maybe would be working together to do something. since they move in the same circles, or the same people are important to them, or that kind of thing. So yeah, there's that.
I mean, I haven't read it, but I like the concept. I've known in other Urban Shadows campaigns, it's been possible for the main characters not to interact for a session or two, like all together, because they were all off doing their own little projects.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, but not the kind of interaction that I think they're going for, or they were going for.
Right. What they should have had was, okay, you all choose the same anchor. And suddenly, at least that moves you in that direction of like all doing the same thing, as opposed to giving you something else to be doing within that hub, if you will. So I totally get what you're saying. Cool. All right, I'm seeing a couple satisfied looks. I'm seeing a couple undecided looks. What's going on here, peeps?
I think I have my sheet mostly done.
Okay. So for your, let's see. So the important things, well, everything's important. But let's since we're here, we're at this point. Let's go over debts. Let's see here. And basically, here's what we'll do. I'm going to basically go one by one, and I want you to, by the time this is done, I'd like you to each have a debt on each other player and them on you, type of thing. So let's do this. Whoever feels that they're kind of as set up as they can, please go ahead, Danielle.
For most of my debts, I think I need to know a bit more about the characters people have made in order to assign them properly.
Perfect. Okay, so let's do this. I'll go one by one. We'll do intro questions. I'll have you do, say, three of the five, and I think that'll help kind of do what Danielle is needing, which is quite reasonable, actually. Not that I'm surprised that reasonable stuff comes out of Danielle, because that's like all I expect. But yes, very excellent point. So who is like done with their character sheet and wants to start us off with, like, let's say 2 or 3 of the intro questions from your playbook?
I could.
Okay, go ahead. Introduce us.
So I am playing Barnaby.
Nice.
Barnaby the Imp. He is, he offers 2 main services. He cleans up, gruesome messes frequently. Sometimes they're just illegal, but frequently they're gruesome and illegal for other supernatural clients. Or shall I say, active clients. And he also holds and transports otherworldly creatures.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go through the other things in here, and then I'll do the intro items. I have 2 assets I've acquired over the years. I have a skilled bodyguard named Lars, and a semi-truck that I control and access that is sort of my mobile containment facility. I currently have a couple problems, one of which is that I'm currently transporting a unicorn that I can't get rid of.
As you do.
Well, because the Fairy aren't very fond of, people trying to, offload unicorns in their territory. And I have a, bit of a reputation issue because some people suspect that I let loose a bunch of quasits just because they were, related.
What does Barnaby look like?
Other small imp type demons.
Gotcha. What does Barnaby look like?
What's that?
What does Barnaby look like?
Barnaby, I am using Steve Buscemi, which I will post in the picture that I happen to be using as inspiration. So he's not the prettiest gentleman. And, his clothing is always a little bit ratty. Like he either can't afford or just doesn't seem to choose good clothing for the company he keeps. Caucasian, always looks a little bit put out, like he's stressed that, like something's going wrong, even when things might be going right. So for the intro questions, we don't need to do my schemes because that's sort of in play. Intro questions. How did I escape my servitude? Well, first I burned down the building that I was, that the binding circle that was used to keep me happened to be established in. And now that binding circle is a piece of debris that is mounted to the inside of the semi because I'm still technically bound to it. I call a group of goblins that are in the city family. They're the sort of people I associate with, not only because I can provide them some things that they're not maybe as, I don't know, charismatic to obtain themselves, but they also help me out in some of my work.
Cool. What is a goblin?
And what's that?
What is a goblin in this case?
I mean, for the most part, they would be.
Do they look human-ish?
They look human-ish. You know, they'd be probably frequently mistaken for, you know, something like junkie or someone that's down on their luck. You know, just posture's not all that great. They're a little bit gangly. But otherwise, they can pass as human.
Cool.
Who did I scam that still holds a grudge? There was a sworn named Maximus. I promised to clean up a mess he had with some, you know, wizard's tower that he had broken into for his own purposes. Well, I did clean it up for him, but I also stole a bunch of other things that he got blamed for.
Nice.
You know, pretty much the menagerie assets that he wasn't interested in, which I then sold, and, you know, as you do.
As you do. Awesome. Cool. Any other intro questions you want to answer, or should we move to the next?
I mean, I can go through all the other ones too. How long have I been in the city? 24 years. I am very proud that I escaped my 100-year commitment in less than a quarter of the time. And when I do get into trouble, there's a vampire named Orion that is a frequent user of my services. But he moves in circles that I just can't. You know, he's a little bit more refined.
Excellent. Cool. All right. Who would like to go next? Don't all jump up at once. I see
Okay,
Jason.
Fine. Okay, fine.
All right. Tell us what's your individual's name and etc.
Park. His name is Park Ashby.
Park Ashby?
Yep. He's indigenous. He generally wears loose, casual clothing. That's a very sort of open and friendly demeanor. You know, very, very out there, very friendly to everybody. Well, yeah, until they give him reason not to.
Right. I am just so you know, Steve. I'm seeing Jason echo onto your mic, so maybe turn.
Yep.
I'm not sure if your sound's like high or something. You're good.
And as for how long I've been in the city, well, I was born here. This is my home. I'm not going anywhere.
So how many years does that mean then? Ish.
23.
23-ish.
23.
Cool. All right, continue on. Let's hear some intro questions. Tell us about Hark Ashby.
The most important person in my territory is matriarch from the Wet'suwet'en First Nations tribe. Most settlers call her Howling Cat, but her actual name is Howly Cat. And nobody quite knows how old she is, but kind of, you know, the block grandmother, I guess. Well, several blocks, but yeah.
Sure. Gotcha.
And what is the best part of my other form? The best part ultimately has to be that I am able to be the warden and protector that my territory and my people need. They can count on me. When the going gets tough, I make the tough get going. And that, yeah, without this ability of mine, things around here would be a lot worse than they are.
Ooh, how so? Is there like a bad influence in that area, or?
Well, actually, yeah, because I do get to choose some traits to go with my my territory. So I did choose, you are widely accepted as this place's protector, so that's blessing supported. Trigon. And I've made a deal with someone or something to protect my territory when I'm not around. So it's also got a blessing of a guardian. I haven't exactly narrowed down what yet. But the area does have a lot of crime. I mean, most areas do in a city, unfortunately. And yet, for whatever reason, mortals in the area are actively trying to revitalize local businesses and infrastructure and massively gentrify this area. So it's very much going through a state of upheaval. And also, I have offered protection within my territory to someone, and now their problems are also mine, which is the complication field. So I haven't exactly nailed down who I offered what.
Could also be your howling cat as an option.
I more think she was here before me, but we'll see what happens.
Entirely up to you. So as anyone who hasn't played this game or probably will recognize, I'm asking questions. I want you to create the fiction. So I'm asking you to solidify stuff for me. So I will continue to ask questions. Feel free to answer them as you like. And again, we're building the world as we go, which is pretty cool. So
yeah.
All right. Any other questions intro questions you want to answer, Jason?
Those will do for now. Still need to figure out an answer for the other ones. So, but yeah,
you don't have to answer all of them. We're good. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's see. I know Danielle was like almost hitting that unmute button when Jason did. So why don't you go next, Danielle? Tell us about your cool wizard.
Yes. For luck, I have she's white. She's conforming and expensive clothing. My touchstones are kind of like natural materials, kind of like flowing silhouettes, so very like traditionally feminine, but with kind of like a hippie flair, I guess. Like the and a lot of natural dyes, so the clothing is kind of spotty.
And what's her name again? I'm sorry.
Florence Easton.
Lawrence Easton. Excellent.
For my intro questions, I'm going to only take a couple intro questions, and I'm going to move on to my sanctum because I think that tells more about who she is.
Very cool.
Yeah, she's been in the city for about 5 years. She moved here to go to college, but got into the coven locally and kind of dropped out because of that. What the other question is, what have you sacrificed for your power, which is her connection with her family and any hope of a non-magical future? And the mistake that keeps her up at night is that she ran away from her previous coven in their time of need.
Ooh, neat. So why is she cut off from her family? Is that like to protect them from people hunting you, or why does she lose connection with her family? What was that her sacrifice?
It's mostly just because there were a lot of expectations from her, both from the coven and from her family. and so she felt it was like impossible to meet, both going to them for Christmas and also doing rituals. They live quite far away too, so part of it is that it drifted off, and then after that she made a decision to cut them off completely because she felt she was hurting them more by keeping them slightly in her life and slightly out of it.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Cool. Yeah, please.
Yeah, and she has a ward that she has to take care of. That's part of the wizard deal. I haven't made all of the decisions or figured out a name for the ward yet, but they are a gifted mage in need of a teacher and guardian, and my membership in a faction, which is the coven she's a part of, compels my agreement. So she has
very
someone
cool.
she wants to take care of. And her sanctum it contains, as like positives, a library of old tomes, an apothecary, magical wards, and a focus circle. So I think she does both, work in like finding out things, magical things, or explaining phenomena, or if someone comes in with a magical item or really any worries that are in the magical realm, I think she helps them for some debt. And she also does some practical spell work as part of her magical duties. But the negatives are that it contains secrets unknown even to her, and that it attracts otherworldly attention.
As you do.
Yes.
Cool. So, what is her sanctum? Is it like part of her home, or is it what?
Yes, she has a nice apartment, and part of it, like honestly, nearly half of it is just a library filled with all these old tomes. I was considering the downside of its location is widely known because it's in her apartment, but I ended up going with the otherworldly attention because I found that more interesting.
That has potential, granted. Awesome. Very cool. Let's see. Cool. I don't have any other questions for you at the moment, but think of that ward. Think of what you want them to be. You are the Jedi Master to their Padawan. So good job. Awesome. Like it. All right. Did you want to answer another question?
Yeah, one. I'm supposed to pick out a conflict that I'm currently mediating, and at the moment it's between the leader of her coven and kind of the rest of the group. So there's some internal conflict there. I think she's quite frustrated that she hasn't like gotten more power within the coven, but part of it is because she can't really ingratiate herself with the leadership when she's trying to keep the peace between them and the rest of the group.
Oh, interesting. Another bit of drama to pick on you. I hope you can see like. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
The whole coven is in a conflict with the coven's leader?
Well, there's tension there, just the disagreements in the leadership, and of course, this isn't the entire circle, but just like a faction within it. So I think the coven is probably around 20 people or so, maybe even less, and it's not like all out conflict, partly because the coven hasn't really like decided someone that they want instead, and the higher ups seem to really like the current leader.
Clearly, the answer is to unionize.
Oh, geez, that's what we need. Oh, God. Oh my goodness. Excellent. Union wizards paying union rates. Awesome.
The wizard union in direct conflict with the capitalist imp.
Oh my God. That's going to be very interesting.
Anarcho-communist witches is a good concept.
All right, that's so awesome. Okay, cool, awesome. I like all these stories so far. So no pressure, Cassie. So Cassie, tell us about your character. What's your character's name?
I was going with Ophelia.
Ophelia,
That's
nice.
like one of the suggestions in the book, and I was just thinking of doing a little bit different than I usually play.
Ooh.
And I imagine she was something of like a dancer at one point. But she was just very ambitious. And she basically sold her soul for mostly just power. And now she helps her patron like try to get their fingers on like political figures, business figures, and stuff like that, and just trying to get like her patron is just trying to position her and their other tainted to like control like the political situation in the city.
Cool.
Is that okay?
What's that?
Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, of course. Why would it not be? That's awesome. Cool. Let's just see. I just want to go to the tainted sheet quick. Because I know there's other questions he'd be asking you.
Let's see.
Hey, come on. Scroll wheel isn't what it used to be. There you go. So, what are your actual demonic jobs from that list? What are you have to choose two? So is it?
I picked collecting souls and brokering demonic contracts.
Ooh, interesting. Cool. And that's tricky because your trigger for your corruption is
And you, so. Unless we don't particularly like being bound, which obviously we don't because I escaped. So.
All right. Cool. All right. That brings us back to Barnaby. Or I'm sorry. Hark.
Okay. Well, I think I know the right person for this one. Someone intervened on my behalf when I crossed someone powerful from a different circle. I think it would be kind of obvious if somebody's able to intervene, act with somebody powerful. That would be Ophelia.
Okay.
In that, you've got your fame, your power, and you're definitely working around in the upper class and up there. And some hoity-toity muckety-muck, I'm not even sure who, but somehow I managed to cross them, and you just somehow I don't have all the details, but you just managed to completely smooth it over, and rather than them basically wanting me dead on the spot, it was more like I better never see you again, and I would owe you a debt for that.
Okay.
Excellent. Cool. All right. How about Barnaby?
Let's see. My next one is I partner with someone on my schemes, both of us profiting in equal measure. I would like to propose that to Ophelia. If maybe I came to you because of, you keeping away, the wizard. But I seem to be good at perhaps biting off a little bit more than I can chew. And certainly not all that I need myself. So maybe some of my work with the mortal sector and some of the other power brokers kind of is in line with the favor that your dark power is trying to curry with the politicians and the other powerful people in town. In which case, we each owe each other 2 debts.
Okay.
So I technically owe you 3 now.
Well, there's a lot of debt going here. Awesome.
Okay. How do I actually mark these off on the sheet? Like, do I just...
So at least I'm putting the debts that people owe me underneath, like a debts category, but then I'm also writing down the ones I owe other people, so I sort of know what they're going to bring up.
Yeah, like what I've written down now is Florence owes me 2, I owe Barnaby 1, I owe Ophelia 1.
Yep.
Cool. All right. How about Florence? What's your next one?
The next one is someone is my go-to when I get into trouble, providing information or muscle to get things done. I owe them 2 debts.
Ooh, that could be anybody.
Your
Who's left?
go-to muscle, huh?
Yeah, anyone's more muscly than me.
I don't think I qualify as being muscly. And I'm not quite an info broker. I'm kind of a, we'll say, glorified janitor and zookeeper.
I mean, the zookeeper thing could definitely work because if
You do attract otherworldly attention.
Yeah, it attracts otherworldly attention. And although I have my magical wards, yeah, I might need some help cleaning up things that are happening outside my apartment.
The occasional hellhound and jabberwock for physical security.
We can do that. I do have a muscly bodyguard that I keep around, so that could work.
Hey.
Plus new stock for the menagerie.
So what was the debts on that one?
I owe you 2 debts. So
Okay.
2 debts from Florence.
Does anyone owe Florence any debts yet?
Not yet.
No. Florence is...
my next thing is asking for someone to owe me a debt. So hopefully I'll...
Okay, good.
Well,
excellent.
I can possibly give you the next one.
Sure, go for it.
Someone is trying to save you from damnation and keeps suffering for it. Ask them why they care when no one else does. You owe them a debt.
Ooh, I could definitely take that one. That's interesting though. Why I would care? I'm going to think on that for a bit more. Let me know if you have any ideas.
What was your character's name again?
Florence.
Florence Easton. Cool. All right. And round last. Going back to Hark.
Someone hired me for a job and I fucked it up. Who hired me?
Who's the last one? Who hasn't had one of your questions?
What did you hire me for? What did you hire me for, Florence?
I hired you to get me an old book or an old tome from someone important. Not so important that you couldn't get it, but important enough.
Maybe I could take that one because I don't have a connection with his character yet.
Oh, don't you already have?
No.
I picked you for the one where you intervened on my behalf.
Yes, I'm confused. Go ahead.
So, how do you like the idea that you managed to do it successfully, but you destroyed the book in the process?
That's a crime.
It says I need to tell them why another obligation got in the way. And no, that works. It works. I felt obligated to absolutely destroy the book. And that's because, well, unfortunately, I mean, you may have hired me, but how to cut the matriarch, he's boss, and she took one look at that, and it's like, that must be destroyed. That knowledge cannot get out. And I'm like, Florence wanted me to get it. Tell her it got lost in the fire. And then she grabbed it and threw it in the fireplace.
Why?
And I'm like,
yeah, you don't remember that one. It gave you the information you needed to find it and everything.
It would take a moron to mess this up.
I think I know what it's when I'm going to change something.
What's
I think instead of brokering demonic contracts, go with like operating a demonic establishment.
Cool. That's fine.
Ooh.
Nice. All right. Let's see here. Barnaby, what's your last one and who's it going to?
My last one is I offered someone work when no one else would give them the time of day. Asked them if it worked out in my favor. I think maybe Florence, when she came here, I think I needed help dealing with, some aspects of these magical creatures I traffic in. Whether, making use of some of your wards or, whatever you can do with your herbology, for charms and whatnot.
Homemade tranquilizer darts.
Yes.
For magical
Exactly. So either way, they owe me a debt.
Okay.
So you actually owe me 3 debts.
Oh. I can see this being flipped around real fast with debts going back and forth even in a 2-shot. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes.
Nice.
You start reading the spending of those.
Yep. Florence, what's your last one and who is the person who's last to get your debt thing?
For helping someone keep a dangerous secret from powerful members of their circle. They owe you a debt.
Woohoo! Who is it?
Yep.
I think certainly Barnaby could qualify for that.
Do you have one of hers?
What's that?
Who is left? Like you already have 2. So is there who is the last person who hasn't been one of the targets of your intro question or your debt questions? That's the person.
Trying to think. The only one I don't have written down twice is Park on mine, but
this was my question.
yeah.
Yeah. So 2 people have already had the first 2. Who has not gotten the one, and that's whoever that is. That's who has this one.
I owe Park and Barnaby debts, and Ophelia and Park owes me a debt. So Barnaby does not owe me a debt. And the other 2 do.
Okay, but I mean, so we've asked. So there's 3 questions and 3 other people. So you've had one question answered by one question answered by another. Whoever has not gotten the last debt thing is who the person who's getting this one.
Ophelia owes me a debt because of one of her questions.
Yeah, I don't think you've asked me. I don't think you used me for one of yours, though.
Okay.
So Ophelia,
there you
go. What secret are you hiding from a powerful member of your circle?
What secret am I hiding? Let's see. I don't know. But let me think.
No pressure.
Dang.
You can always come back to this if you need to, by the way. It's not a huge deal here.
I can fill in because Ophelia owes me a debt because I believe in her salvation when no one else does. So I think I probably frequent your establishment. Know you from there.
Okay.
Have you decided what your establishment is yet?
Well, I was kind of imagining it as like just a place where like wealthy people come and like
so anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear expensive clothing. Can I get in?
Yeah, it's like an expensive type gentleman's club type thing, I guess.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
So
fun.
that's probably where she dances too. I mean, just like
no, just so we all have the same picture in mind. So, gentlemen's club in American parlance is a strip club. Is
not
that what
not
you
not
mean?
not 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 not. That's not exactly what I mean.
A burlesque.
Yes, yeah,
Uh,
that's what it
Club?
means. So what you mean by gentlemen's club is a true gentleman, like where they go to smoke cigars and drink fine cognacs, and rich people do rich people things.
I mean, could it be an entertainment venue?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
specifically targeted to the upper class.
yeah. It's basically what I'm thinking about.
Okay, like I'm sort of thinking like the original or the older Gotham show that was basically like a high end jazz cabaret bar type place.
Yeah, could be some like maybe like like a theater. You go there and you get like a steak and you watch a play.
Right, or dancers or performers or whatever. That's cool. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
something like that.
All right. All right. Cool. So let's see. So have you answered? Do you want to come back to the answer to Florence's question as to how she owes you, or how you owe her rather? What secret
Uh,
you're keeping from the rest of your circle that she's helping you keep?
let's see. Oh, maybe I am trying to protect some of like the other players, the other people from getting in too deep with like the demonic stuff, and I kind of. Mm,
You've been
uh,
disobeying orders?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's
All
interesting.
right. Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. All right. That leaves your last debt question, Ophelia. What is that? And who is the last person who hasn't answered or participated in one of your debt questions? That's the person who gets this one.
Let me see. Who's the two people I got so far?
Or
Mine was. I think the only other. Someone is trying to save you. Protecting. So I think the one that is Park, right? That I haven't used one of my questions on.
Okay.
And the
yeah, I
last
think that's
question
correct.
is: you hurt or killed someone's good friend or ally on your demonic patron's orders. You owe them a debt.
Really?
Really?
One debt? One measly debt for that?
Well, it was probably someone not important to the circle, you know.
Yeah, but they were important to me. Me.
All right.
But sure, you can owe me one. I'm not entirely sure why yet. Well, you killed somebody, but who did you kill? Okay, so yeah, it was Brandon, and I guess I'm not that torn up about it. Brandon was kind of douchey.
Well,
So I mean, he lived here, and I very much had to comfort his abuela. After he died, but I don't exactly miss him too much on my own. I was falling into those kinds of crowds. He fancied himself a pickup artist. So
Gotcha.
there you go. Only one debt. Massive offense to me, but on the balance, the world will miss him, but not very much.
Yeah, well, it says I hurt or killed someone. So it's not
Go
necessarily
killed. It's Urban Shadows. Dude's dead. Brendan is dead.
Brendan is dead.
Yeah, don't go half-assed here. Let's totally just go into the shadows.
Yes,
So yes,
well,
all right, awesome. All right, so
I
now
ate
you
Brendan's soul.
yes. So now you have your stats, you have your moves, you have your starting debts. We have some background in each of you, which is all the characters are awesome as always. Creative folk, you role players. So let's take our break. We're actually at our halfway point. So this is a two shot. So this isn't too horrible that we spent a whole half of the first session doing character stuff. That's actually about what I expected. So let's take our 10-minute break. Be right back, and then we'll do the thing. Sound good?
Well, that gives you 10 minutes to come up with an adventure, Scott.
Are we
Pretty
doing
much.
hub items?
What was that?
Are we going to do the hub items?
I'm gonna hub. I'm gonna say not at the moment.
Okay.
Again, I think you have enough connection for. Again, this is just a two shot. If this was an actual if were this actual a campaign, I would have you do hub items. But I don't really care for the moment. Though we will, I'll introduce the hub as the downtown. We'll see what the moves are, and of course, you'll have access to them. So, take your 10 minutes, hydrate, dehydrate, do whatever it is that you do, and we'll see you shortly. So we'll be right back. Cool. Back from break, and we're chatting about characters as one does as role players.
Yes.
Maybe that's why you chose to come live in the Wolf's Turf, because I am so far outside of anybody's liking. I'm pretty much the closest you can get to neutral ground, because you're all sick and tired of dealing with everybody else's problems.
Yeah, like
That's too funny.
we don't have like a great relationship, but like we know where each other stands.
That's the start of a great relationship, right? Or a great, frenemyhood, or etc.
I respect you and your power, much the same way I. Anyhow, moving on.
Funny. All right. Let's see here. All right. Cool. Let's do this thing. So we have our wolf. We have our imp. We have our wizard. We have our tainted. So let's kick this off. Let's do this, peoples. Let's do this. Let's get crazy. Let's get nuts. All right.
Let's go crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason we don't do Scott's Case Files karaoke very often. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, because the problem is the most likely to sing is me, and that then nobody ain't happy.
Oh, no. After some beer, who cares? We're all good. All right. So, the scene for each of you is very similar. You're kind of doing your own thing. You're going from one place to another, going about your lives, doing what it is that you do. Ophelia, you're probably emerging from your club. Whose name we'll figure out later, not important. Barnaby, you might just have locked up the truck for the night, kind of after, hosing everything down and or chaining things down, depending on what your vocation was for the evening.
I mean, unicorn needs fed. I can't just keep it forever.
This is true. Then we have let's see, yeah. So Park is probably doing a lone patrol of last thing at night, right before going home. Just that one last lap, just to be sure. You never can be too sure about your territory. And then Florence, probably as you're kind of going from one of the local used bookshops, and it's like you probably found that used bookshops have old cool books that one here and there have turned out to be very useful. So you probably went to one of those coming back, and at some point you just feel dizzy and unsure of your footing, and next thing you know, there's this hood over your head. And not too long after, it feels like you're kind of dragged off by something strong, really strong. Next thing you know, your whole body is a tingle. It's like it's almost like a wave. Like when you walk outside after into 100 some degree weather after being in air conditioning, that there's that distinctive wave that hits you where it crosses over the surface of your body. And this is very much the same feeling, except with this tingly, just weird. The smells are the scents are just familiar and unfamiliar mixed together. It's just so strange. And this goes on. You can't quite keep track of how long it is. It's just very indistinct. It's like you could have been dragged for an hour or 20 seconds. You're really not sure. And not long after that, you feel like that shift come back, and suddenly you're on what seems to be like you can actually feel like dried leaves and soil underneath your hands and feet as you're kind of like pushed forward, and you're kind of like on all fours, trying not to be totally pushed over onto your side or back. And the hood comes off, and the four of you are sitting in front of someone that I suppose this actually could automatically trigger something. I'm going to say you all know the individual as by their plumage, etc., as the King of Fall, a Fey leader in one of the factions. And he's decked out in like the standard colors, brown, orange, reds, fiery type things, and whatnot. And is surrounded by a court. You're like, it's like you're in a forest somewhere close, or a forested area that's secluded, and it's just you, them, and they're sitting up on this tree that's kind of bare of leaves, being fall time, and kind of where the trunk is bent to it, where it's pretty much like a throne, and in back of them is all these bare branches coming up, and they're that and you are surrounded by I'm not sure, is it a gaggle of Fae? Is it a murder of Fae? Is it I don't know, a pride of Fae? I don't know.
That depends on the look in their eye.
It depends on the look in their eye, etc. Yes. So that's what you see when you kind of come to...
Unkindness of Fae. There you go. It's an unkindness of Fae.
An unkindness of Fae. In this situation, is probably quite accurate. You see the King of Fall looks very pleased of himself that you're there, whereas everyone else kind of looks upset. It's like you can see that there's little but disdain in their eyes for each of you, and it's just like this look of disgust, like you've defiled their grounds or something. What do you do?
Okay.
I'll look straight at Barnaby and go, what are you doing here?
Like, I'll turn to the king and like kneel really quick and be like, if I knew you wanted the unicorn, I would have brought it with me.
Yeah, there's a sudden murmur of unicorn. Is a unicorn? Who about a unicorn?
God damn it, Barnaby, I told you unicorn hunting is something for other venues.
Oh my god. Anybody else doing anything, or shall I continue with the phase response?
Fine.
I'm trying to check if I need to be in a conversation with someone to figure someone out. No, I just have to learn by scrutinizing their body language, tone of voice, or other telltale cues.
Yeah, so you have to observe someone for just a little bit at least before you can do that. So you won't be able to trigger that quite yet, but good thinking. Very nice.
And blink a bit, look around like, oh, you too? What are you doing here, Ophelia?
I was dragged here. Dragged, I presume.
I believe I was brought here to serve at the king's pleasure, but more rough than I'm used to.
Well, yeah, anything but the most delicate of clouds would be too rough for you. So, as for you two, I'm not surprised to see you together. Okay, so why'd you bring us here?
So the King of Autumn, King of Fall, stands up and gives a bad laugh. Ha ha ha! And again, this is Faye. They don't quite get humor and how that whole thing works entirely. You're supposed to laugh at certain times, apparently. So this is the appropriate time to laugh. Ha ha ha! I see you're in awe of my power and my ability to bring you here. You've been gifted with a special trip that not many of your kind do. We brought you here through Arcadia itself. and Arcadia is where we can abandon you if you don't do what I ask.
Okay.
I'll look around and see.
I
Don't think you have the latest Street Fighter here.
what do I
What?
know about Arcadia?
Yeah, so Arcadia is probably, there's not a lot. You know, it's the origin place of the Fae. So, like, one of the kind of things that makes and the Fae are part of the Wild Circle, formerly the Wild Faction. And one of the things that makes the Wild, the Fae and the Tainted, actually, so interesting and what I like to play up about them to kind of get on that is that they're from another place. They don't quite get this reality they're in, this whole, Earth thing. But definitely, Arcadia is definitely their home. It follows different rules. There's tales of people being taken in Arcadia. They're gone for a day, and when they come back the next day and they're aged 70 years, or vice versa. They're gone for 70 years and they barely aged a day. And sometimes they take people in there as servants and slaves. Other times people accidentally find their way into Arcadia and get lost. Or they're even, forced into their, for hunting by Fae or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely a different reality. It doesn't follow the laws of physics completely as you would expect in this reality.
Okay, then I'm definitely rolling figure someone out.
Yes. Ophelia say, well, King, we have a good relationship. I'm sure we can work something out.
And do so you shall. So let's see here. Yeah, so let's do the figured out real quick.
It's 2d6.
Yep, roll 2d6, and I'm just trying to find it real quick. Plus your mind score.
Yeah, that is a 4, but it becomes a 6 with my mind.
Excellent. So that's a miss. So let's see here. Let's bring this up. All right. So normally you'd be able to ask them a question, but I'm going to let the King of Fall ask you a question. Let's see here. How could I? Let's see. How could I put your character in my debt?
Ooh.
And this is I was kind of want to illustrate that this is not the actual king saying these things. This is something that's kind of happening between you, whether it's voiced or not, that kind of thing.
At this point, bring me back home. I think is something that would put me in their debt.
That is fair. And I also want to point out kind of one of the cool things about the system is, let's say you figure someone out and you had asked an NPC this, what would put your character in my debt? Whatever answer I give for an NPC, if you do that, they are then in your debt. This is like, I'm giving you the parameters to do what you want to do. It's up to you to do it or not. And that's kind of the cool things about the system. It's like, yeah, I'm giving you all the cues you need to do what you want. It's a matter of your character taking the time and effort to do the thing. So kind of keep that in mind as we go. But yeah, you kind of see there's something that passes between Florence and the King of Fall, and he kind of does that smile of, one-upsmanship type of thing, and takes note of Ophelia's comment, and he nods in her direction. I'm happy to be reasonable. In fact, I'm happy to reward you. But first, you must do us a service, a great service. A service that we need most direly.
Well, here's something that I think I could try. Could I try, like, put a name to a face on the Fall King?
Well, you already have all that information.
Oh, okay.
It
Yep.
falls
So, yeah.
a big enough deal that we all got a free 12 on that roll.
Yeah. I've already. Basically, he's so big that I've established that you actually know him without having to do that.
Oh, okay.
Good thinking, though.
Well, I don't know. I was just looking through this stuff and trying to figure out what stuff I could do.
Well, you literally jumped into the quick start tonight, so you're already ahead of the game. So good job.
All right.
Danielle, were you saying something?
Yes. I'm not sure of how he phrased it, but and what exactly did you bring us here to help you with?
I am glad you asked. Someone had to ask. That's how this works, correct? He kind of looks around, and the other Fae are kind of looking to each other like, I don't know how these mortals do their thing.
Not approvingly to him.
Yes, certainly. He sits, and he sits with that, again, with that I'm better than you seat, where like the hands are on the edge of the chair, and this big throne. He's already in a throne. That alone is saying so much. But yeah, puts his hands on the edge of the throne and sits back like king of the world. And for all he knows, he is, from his point of view. He's like, I am soon to depart these lands back to Arcadia forever. But in order for me to do so, I must have another Fae take my place as Queen of Winter. And she's been taken from us. And we need you to find them.
Very well. You know who might have wanted to take this future Queen of Winter?
And he kind of slams his fist on one of the arms. He's like, impudent mortal! I've brought you here to begin an investigation and find your own answers. What kind of quest would I be giving you if I told you everything you needed to know? That's not how this works. And he kind of looks around for approving looks from the rest of the Fae, like, oh yeah, totally. You can't give me any information. That's not how this works.
So what you're saying is you don't know.
And what would you offer for us to accomplish this quest?
I give you freedom from Arcadia.
That's a pretty piss poor reward, considering we weren't here until after you brought us here.
He kind of he looks around, and he can't quite understand why. It's obvious to him and the rest of the Fae that what do they mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're he kind of sees the gears turning, like he's trying to translate to Earth speak, and he's like, yes. So the reward is we won't exile you to Arcadia should you succeed in this request. That is the payment. The payment is bad things don't happen to you while I am king of all.
Oh well, don't mind them. I'd be very happy to work for you for such an august court that you've assembled here. And as a reward, I will even throw in one fine unicorn.
Already a bargaining chip. We will talk of unicorns soon enough. First,
we will find your Queen of Winter, and we will return her to you, and you will return us from whence we came, and not exile us. And we shall have a boon from one whose power is beyond measure, such as yourself, such that even such a minor boon as a minor mind as mine may have come up is so infinitesimal as to be beneath your notice.
There's like some couple of Fae kind of go behind him. They're whispering into his ear as he's kind of whispering back. They're very well. This and a boon.
As we do in the Mortal Lands, let us seal this contract such that we will know where we stand with each other.
The word of the King of Fall is enough. So go forward. Go forward and find Jason Schmidt, one of the Fae in your lands.
Fair enough.
I tried.
Go forth.
Are our hands tied behind our backs, or are we free to move?
You're free to move. The only thing that was
Okay.
restraining you was like big, strong hands and a sack over your head.
I get up and start heading towards what I assume is the exit.
Well, you're just in a secluded area, and one of the as you kind of like get up and start to follow the orders, like all the Fae are like, oh, meeting's over. We've done what we needed to do to make them do our thing, and one of the Fae kind of points this way towards like this path that's kind of beaten out of there, and he goes, "You'll find 4th Street that way."
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, 4th Street is just outside your territory, Park.
Yeah, Ophelia will just stride out confidently.
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of saunter out.
Like, I'm leaving of my own accord, darn it.
Can you
How
repeat
about
the name
Barnaby?
of the man we were supposed to find?
Jason Schmidt.
Thank you.
Whereas the others are confident, Barnaby's definitely looking over his shoulder, wondering if, someone's going to try and grab him.
Wouldn't be the first time tonight.
Wouldn't be the first time in general.
I'm pulling up my phone to see if I can find any information on a Jason Schmidt who lives nearby.
Probably not. So, like, as I noted before, you can definitely hit the streets, but you're going to have to physically hit the streets. When it says hit streets, find somebody. So,
Yeah.
are you, and the question is, are you going to do so communally, on your own, in pairs? You all know each other quite obviously. You're intertwined in debt, etc. What is your general plan once you leave? Your roleplay amongst yourselves. Figure it out via roleplay. As you find yourself on 4th Street.
Okay.
Okay, well, Ophelia will move up to Florence's. Do you know many Fae? I think
Can I roll put a face to a name for Wild? Or this
No.
Jason?
Oh, no.
For Jason? No?
What? Actually, you know what? That is a good question. I will say no. This isn't a person of status in the wild circle. Strangely, you would think they would be, right?
Yes.
Oh, he's not from another circle either?
No. I would let you roll from that circle were that the case. But yeah, in order to show up on that roll, you have to have some kind of status, and it seems that you can't even. I won't even let you roll because they don't.
Yes.
Makes sense.
I am submit.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I am definitely going to literally hit the streets kind of walk up and down my neighborhood, giving high fives and hit fist bumps, just kind of looking in on everybody, and just asking around, if anybody knows this Jason guy.
Okay. Is anyone going with you? Or are you all staying together right now? Or are you kind of like still freaked out from being taken and strength in numbers? Or are you breaking out on your own? Or is everybody just following Park right now?
I think Barnaby was gonna, start whispering aside with Ophelia, with the ones we know in our circles of mutual acquaintances, and maybe offer to help her, vice versa, calling around and trying to connect with someone that might know.
And they look like they're getting ready to split off. I'm going to point straight at Barnaby. It's like, okay, we're going to meet back up at your shop 8 o'clock tonight. Everybody figure out what they can, bring what you can, and we will go from there. I know you don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, but we're in pretty deep dog shit right now. So, how about we actually just work together for once and get this over and done with?
Like, this isn't deep. This is a good opportunity. I can get rid of my unicorn and maybe meet some interesting people who have need of my services.
Wait, hold. This is a new unicorn, right? Right?
We don't need to discuss how long I've had the unicorn.
Oh, I'm just gonna start laughing. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to my people. You go talk to your people. We're all gonna be at Barnaby's shop 8 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
Unless you want to come with me. I don't know. Might be a bit slumming it for someone like you.
She just raises an eyebrow. Yeah, I wanted to... Oh, I'm sorry. All I wanted to say to Barnaby, perhaps this person is not aware of their Fey heritage, and it still slumbers within them, and they live a mortal life.
I'm just thinking it's easier to find someone if we narrow down the choices from who we know and figure out who we should go off and contact. I'm angling for the lend a hand, with someone getting a faction move. So
No, I don't think you can actually lend a hand with a faction move.
No,
or a circle move. Yeah.
And let's see, it's a basic move.
But good thinking.
After a PC has rolled.
It does say basic move. Huh.
Yeah, I think it wants you to go totally with your own.
Well, then there's no reason
status.
to not go off on our own. There's no reason to work together either. We're talking about, reasons to, test the system.
Well, what can I do in this situation? Like, that would be helpful.
If things go bad, it's nice to have someone there to lend a hand at that time. That's my only bit of advice to you, just in case. Cool. All right.
What do you think, Florence? Or Danielle?
I was considering going to the street they said this Jason Smith lived at. It's not too big an area. Checking just the names on the various post boxes might be enough to stumble across them. I think I would have known about them if they were well known within their circle, but they seem not to be. I couldn't find any information online about them.
Excellent. All right, so let's see here. So, Park, you're going to hit the streets. Is anyone going with Park? Let's establish that.
No, I think I was angling to go with Ophelia.
Okay. And Florence, what is your plan? Are you're going to go? You're going to kind of go around. I don't think they actually said it was. He lives here per se. It's the street that you're.
Said, okay, if they didn't, then I'll just go with Park.
Okay, cool. All right, so we got 2 pairs of 2. Yeah, the only street they mentioned was the street that where the place you're at emptied onto.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So yes, 2 by 2 hands of blue. That's a totally different game, but a fun one. Yeah. So okay. Let's see. So Ophelia, what was your plan? Were you and Barnaby headed to then?
Where are we headed to?
I mean, I think the park is a good gathering ground for Faye if we wanted to ask around in our circle.
Yeah. Maybe she knows, like, this improv art exhibit that's in the park, and it's like a gathering ground for, like, Faye. And she could go there and, like, ask around.
Okay. Let's see here.
It's like a whole, like, Shakespeare in the park type thing.
Sure. So now what that would trigger is like studying a place of power, which I'm not sure gives you quite what you're looking for. But you can certainly do that because you're triggering it. Alternatively, you can create. This is where the player creates the NPC. Basically, tell me, oh, there's this in this group, this Shakespeare in the Park. There's a Fae that I know, and their name is blank, and that's who I'm talking to.
Yeah, it sounds more like they're just using the Shakespeare in the Park as the street they're hitting. So.
Yeah, it's just asking you to, name a PC that is in that group that we can talk to.
Yeah. Or an NPC, rather. But yes. Yeah, so this is how you, the player, start creating the game and creating the NPCs and the fiction we're in.
Maybe somebody named Malcolm. Like, they're just a kind of short guy in like a beanie with kind of like what's it called? Stubble and like glasses. You know the kind of guy with like the hat, glasses, stubble, kind of like a bit older, like in their like late 30s.
And are they Fae?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah. All right. Go ahead and roll with their circle. So that's wild. So roll your wild. It's 2d6 plus wild.
Okay. So 2d6 plus 2, I guess.
All right. Ooh, a 9. So partial success. So let's see here. 7 and 9, choose one. So they have what you're looking for, but whoever you're going to is juggling their own problems, or whatever you need is more costly than you expected. So which is it?
Just to clarify, I think Tainted automatically start with Wild 1.
Yes. It said to add 1, so I get 2, right? And I added it to Wild.
So that'd be a result of 11?
And
I don't know if I'm reading the dice roller right, but I think you rolled a 4 and a 5. Oh, yeah, I think you rolled a 4 and a 5.
Yeah, and then it says total 9.
Okay,
Right.
so you added
That
2, so that's an
doesn't
11. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so yes, okay, that's a complete success, so we don't have to do that. So, you spot Malcolm in the crowd. He's kind of, they have like a very rickety type stage set up, just so like big enough for like 2 or 3 people to be on quasi safely. It's made of plywood and like the drapes are tie dyed, etc. And Malcolm is kind of giving advice to someone about to go up on the stage, like, no, now honey, don't worry. Just get up there. Don't worry about what anyone is doing. Just worry about the words and the magic that the words make. And this younger woman is like, but I don't think my words make magic. He says, just trust me, go make magic. And he kind of pushes her up on the stage, and suddenly she starts reciting from some play or another. And that's when he kind of sees the 2 of you out of the corner of his eye. And you can kind of see him. He does that. Ophelia, good to see you.
She looks around the set. Looks like you're having fun today.
Who's your mousy-looking little friend?
Barnaby. Remember it.
Oh, most assuredly. He kind of looks back towards Ophelia. Ophelia, you aren't going to cause me any trouble tonight, are you? I really can't take it, and I need to coach these young things to make magic out of their words. And let me tell you, there's not a whole lot of magic in those words, so it's taking a lot of coaxing and coaching. So, what do you need?
Oh, Malcolm, you know that the seeds are there. You just need the right encouragement.
Oh, certainly.
But we're coming on business this afternoon. And
Do tell.
we're looking for somebody that you might know. Are you familiar with somebody called Jason Schmidt?
Jason Schmidt. What was that term that the immortals used to use like a century or 2 ago? Going native. So yes, Jason is actually Borislander in my tongue. Oh, well, my tongue is something you can't possibly pronounce. You only have the one tongue, and you can only do so much. But Borislander decided to try to cut themselves off from us and do the mortal thing. Very disdainful, if you ask me. Very, very rude. Very unfey-like. I don't approve.
Very
But yes.
boring.
Boring. Thank you, little person. What did you need?
Well, we were looking for them.
Well, I know that they're an artist, but beyond that, I don't know a whole lot more about them. They, like I said, they cavort with the mortals a little more than any of the other of us would presume. But as to that, once they fell out of our circle, I didn't pay much attention, to be quite honest.
I see. Well, that's all right. I'm sure we'll be able to find them.
Excellent. Well, with that, I need to make magic happen where there is none. Or coax coax it, as you say. So won't you and your little tiny insignificant friend leave me be to my machinations? And I will
Yeah.
see you soon, hopefully under good circumstances. Perhaps I'll get you on the stage next time.
Oh, I don't think you could afford that.
Touche, madame. With that, he kind of
Yeah.
turns back. He starts. You're now in his rearview mirror, as they say. You're in the past, and he is looking towards the future with these wannabe actors and actresses who are trying to do Shakespeare in the not round in this little park. So
Yeah.
we'll pop on over and we'll pop over to Park in Florence. Park, Park. You're the one who's actually doing high fives and
Yeah.
fist bumps and stuff through neighborhood. You're walking with this incredibly well dressed woman who does not look like she really completely fits in here. But yeah, she's kind of walking along with you. You get some weird looks. But who's the person you're looking for?
Mostly I was more kind of just asking around if anybody knew had heard of Jason, knew anything about Jason, and basically get pointed in the right direction. Like, oh yeah, no, Billy was talking about some Jason the other day. You should talk to Billy.
Okay.
More quite literally, like pounding the pavement and just asking around for any leads I can get.
Okay. So you've just created a name. So basically to hit the streets, you hit the streets, name who you're going to. So you've just named Billy.
Billy.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
And
Billy apparently knows something.
okay, so you've heard maybe that Billy knows something. So what circle is Billy to be found in? Billy
Billy.
mortal?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Billy's mortal. Most of the people around here are mortal.
Okay. All right. So roll plus mortal.
I get +1 on that. So
Yes. And Ophelia, also remember to mark wild for advancement. Ooh, 12.
11 plus 1 is 12.
Nice.
Advancement.
Wild?
What's that?
Yeah, you just told me to mark wild, but aren't I supposed to be marking mortality?
No, Ophelia. Ophelia. So whenever you do a circle move, you qualify for advancement for that circle.
Yeah,
So
no, I
Ophelia,
understood. I just heard the wrong name.
you're doing fine. So yes. All right. So you're hanging out with Billy. So what does Billy do? Why would Billy know Jason?
Um,
Does Billy hang out downtown at all? That's probably where Jason is.
you know, Billy, I mean, he occasionally likes to kind of, gets a bit of extra money and kind of spends it going somewhere a bit more upper class than he can normally go to. And actually, he actually knows Jason because they became buddies at one of these newfangled gentrified. What?
Nope. Stop creating. Stop creating. So basically, you give me the name and like who they are, and I'll make up. The part I do is I'm going to jump in and tell him what he knows, if anything.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, Billy is actually friends with this Jason Schmidt.
Yeah, like I said, hold on, don't create that. That's my part to create. So you basically that part you don't control. You control creation of Billy, but then I will jump in and let you know for my part of the fiction what, if anything, they know and that kind of thing. Just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing the move. So yes, so Billy, so Billy does try to get the money together to kind of live the uptown downtown life for at least a little while. Spending $20 to get a cover charge into a club here and there. Drinking martinis, wearing his one fancy stolen couture outfit, and that kind of thing. And for now, though, looks like he's coming back from there. So he's looking pretty nice. It's actually like a tailored outfit, satin shirt, that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, he sees you and he almost turns around because he knows that, you hate it when he brings any potential trouble into your neighborhood, into your territory, and who knows what he's bringing back from downtown. So he almost turns around, but sees you see him, and decides that that would just be an admission of guilt, and keeps walking towards you. And he can't help it. He can't help but take note of Florence, standing next to you, which is this weird, juxtaposition of figures. Like could they be different or more different? He's like, Hey, Mr. Ashby, how you doing today, sir? Mr. Ashby, sir.
Today's been up and down, but I'm hoping you can bring things more up.
Yeah, and how could I do that for you, Mr. Ashby? You can kind of see he's visibly starting to sweat a little bit. There's guilt here.
Well, little coyote told me that you and Jason are all buddy-buddy.
Jason... Does Jason have a last name?
Seriously, Billy, are we going to do this?
I'm envisioning this. Is Marcellus Wallace a bitch?
Remember what happened the last time you fucked around with me?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Ashby, I do. Yeah, you mean Jason Schmidt? Yeah, I know the guy. You heard right. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's good. You're still Spartan from last time when I embarrassed you in front of everybody on the basketball court. So yeah, Jason Schmidt. I need to talk to him. He hasn't done anything. I just need to talk to him. Apparently, he knows a little something I need to know to keep things all running smooth. So if you can just help me out and point me the right way, we'll be good.
It's like he kind of looks over towards Florence. It's like, can I talk in front of her? Speaking of Florence, like she's not even there, or can't hear him speak of her right when she's right there.
You can absolutely talk in front of her, but I wouldn't talk to her the wrong way.
He kind of looks back and forth. Okay, so yeah, I don't know where Jason is. I know where he lived.
He lived.
There was police tape out in front of his place. He has this apartment, and I go by the other night, just last night, and there's police tape on it, and some detectives and 4 squad cars with lights flashing, and yeah, something is going on. I don't know what it is. I didn't want to kind of get involved. You know what I mean, Mr. Ashby?
Yeah, no, that's definitely something you shouldn't be involved in. This was just last night, huh?
Yeah. I've never seen so many cops one place in the downtown. At least, not for one person.
I mean, I better go check it out, just in case something's happened. I mean, I was just looking to talk to Jason. I didn't want to hurt him. So,
well, yeah, it's not my business, Mr. Ashby. I get that.
Well, I mean, telling me the address is your business.
Yeah, he'll give you the address, and it's the street looks recognizable to you.
Excellent. Excellent.
And he's like, and he takes out this card and he hands it to Florence. He's like, and this is my address.
I am just going to glance at Florence and roll my eyes so freaking hard. And then look back to Billy. It's like, all right, Billy, you keeping out of trouble? Right?
Yeah, I'm totally he kind of like takes the card back. He like, does that thing where it flicks it and it disappears like a, like a street magic magician. It's like, yes, Mr. Asher, I'll be on my way. I'm on my way.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, man.
I don't want to have to talk to your mother again, All right. You're a good kid, Billy. And I'm gonna you flip a coin off your hand, and I'm gonna flick a coin towards him. And it's like, here you go, thank you very much. Don't spend it all in one place. And just start walking away as he catches a quarter.
Nice. Oh god, he's like, he looks at it, it's like, oh, it's a Canadian quarter too. Nobody takes these things.
Yeah, it's only worth 4 cents?
Damn it. All right. So yeah, that's it's again walking or what do you call it? Hitting the streets takes some time. So you can either do something else, or you can play the scene where you're meeting back up at Barnaby's place. Which would you all like to do? Is there something else that the plus ones in this last scene would like to do, or are we going back to Barnaby's right away?
No, I think I'm just aching to get to his apartment so I can find something of his to track him with.
Yeah,
okay.
Assuming we had some time and or it was on the way, I at least wanted to do, a walk by Jason's place and, see whether or not the police still have it taped off or how many cops are there. Just, getting an idea, basic case of joint. But if Florence wants to go in,
I mean, I could either, if there are cops there, I could distract them. You could get in, get some of his hair from his hairbrush or something, and I'll be good to go.
No, I mean, I'm up for that. If Scott's up for that.
Sure. Yeah, well, let's do a quick scene with that. So yes, it looks like the place is taped off. It's basically one of those apartments where it's right on the street, the entrance, and then the staircase goes up to the second floor to this, what looks to be like a tiny thin apartment. But yeah, it's like you have to go up the stairs to get to it from that front area. It's taped off right now, and there is like a police officer. Looks like some new beat cop type thing, fresh out of the academy by the looks of him, and he's like, being extra vigilant, doing his duties, etc. So you kind of see this from a distance and can plot your plot. Florence, what did you want to do? What's your distraction? What are you thinking of?
I mean, I'm a well-dressed lady in a shady part of town. I think I'm just going to go up to them and ask for help to find my way home.
Oh, nice. Cool. All right, so go ahead and roll to mislead, distract, or trick. Nice. So that's plus mind. So 2d6 plus mind.
2d6. I'll just press a button. 9 plus 2, that's an 11.
Jesus, the random number generator is being very kind to you all tonight so far. I'm sure that can only change.
I fell horribly at the first one.
But in the meantime, pick 3. So you can, the options are, let's see here. You create an opportunity. You expose a weakness or flaw. You can confuse them for some time, and you avoid further entanglement. So you can actually select 3 out of the 4 there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to create an opportunity, confuse them for some time, and avoid further entanglement so we can get out without being spotted.
Right. So yeah, so what I'm envisioning from this then is like, yeah, hey, I'm lost, and my pocketbook was in the cab and it took off without me, and I'm stuck. Would you mind, escorting me, over to, this building or whatever? And yeah, he's oh my God, oh miss, I'm happy to protect and serve, and I will take you
Thank you so
wherever you
much.
need to go. He's like falling over him. This is like the best first day on the job of his life. He's like, oh my God, it's like a Boy Scout just ready for that badge, And he's like just falling over himself. He's like, just follow me, ma'am. I'll protect you. I'll make sure you get there safe. And I picture you two walking down the street as they're doing the thing, and what do you call it? Park goes in, takes a quick look around. You kind of see him and, kind of turn around a little bit, see him out of your peripheral, see him come out. And that's when you're like, oh, this is my building right here. And he, wasn't very far, I was happy to help you, ma'am. If you do anything else,
I'm sorry.
please.
I've had a few drinks, so I just suddenly couldn't see the buildings properly. Apologies.
Well, thank you for not operating a motor vehicle tonight then, ma'am. The city thanks you.
And I act as if I'm going into the building.
Nice. Yeah, so he'll only turn around once they're actually what do you call it? I'm sorry, I'm still getting names down. Once Park is safely out. So Park, you get in there, and it's basically, you probably duck under the tape. Looks like the door's been busted in. So it's kind of left there. That's probably why there was a police officer left on site. And as you kind of go upstairs, you find yourself at the top flight, and basically you're right in someone's living room at the top of the stairs, and it looks like, there's been some kind of horrible thing here. So there's basically two tape outlines of bodies that aren't here anymore. They're kind of right nearby where you come up and hit the floor. Like one is right at the top and the other is a little further in. And as you kind of go past that, you see that the room they came from is kind of, there's stuff that's busted up, and it's just like in disarray. It's like something happened here. There was a fight. There was it's hard in your mind to put together what came first. The bodies or the scuffle, or the scuffle or the bodies, or what. But if you want to study a place of power, go ahead and roll with the it'll be this will be wild. So roll with wild.
Oh, maybe. Oh, that's a 7.
All right. Okay. So let's see here. So yeah, on a hit, you see below the surface. You didn't get the 10 plus to get the +1 forward, but as you so you look around and it's like, okay, I'm seeing here, I'm seeing that. It's like, okay, so here, so you see the two chalk or the tape outlines, and past, there's right next to the first one, you see just the hint of a shoe print in the blood. And then past the other one, there's a full frontal shoe print in the blood. Looks like a sneaker of some sort, tennis shoe. And it's like, okay, so kill, and hack in, and then struggle, break picture, and you see a picture with it's the oddity in the room is there's this framed picture of two young men holding each other and looking into the camera. It's a very cute picture, and the glass on the front has been broken, and you can actually see where it got dumped on the floor. It was broken and subsequently picked up and put back on the shelf. And the only other thing of note is what looks like there's a rag that doesn't belong. Like, oh, maybe, if we were in the kitchen, maybe this would make sense, but that's a rag. You just take the briefest of seconds to sniff it. Your wolf's natural, wolf senses won't even make you roll. It's some kind of chemical, but it's strong, whatever it is.
Mm.
And that's what you find before you have to scoot out before Mr. Police Officer comes back to his post.
Yeah. Well, I'll be sure to grab something with some kind of trace. Most likely place to get something is in a bathroom. If there's going to be a hairbrush, it'll be there, or a toothbrush will work.
Yeah, there's a couple of brushes for certain.
Yeah. Just quickly, yeah. It was a couple of brushes. I'll kind of grab the brushes and grab any toothbrushes I see, and quickly pop them in a plastic bag and tuck that under my jacket, and then quickly make my way out.
All right, cool. All right, we only have a less than 15 minutes left, so I want to get back to that scene at Barnaby's. So Barnaby, describe your shop? What does it look like?
Barnaby's shop is it kind of looks like the front desk of something that's obviously a warehouse space. Because frankly, his shop is usually just a landing ground for things that need disposed of. Or
Always in one.
held until the rightful owner can pick them up. And by rightful owner, meaning whoever just bought whatever I just acquired.
Right.
So, it's not clean. It would do very well to look like one of those places that I usually end up having to clean up at. It is, there's various stains on the floor that you can't tell exactly what caused them. Some are in, different shades that are well, that's not human blood. Not saying it isn't someone else's. But, the front room is just kind of, there is a counter, but there's a few ratty chairs, that are the, plastic, sort of pleather, type stuff that's, worn through in spots or, has rips in it. A nice place to, get together and have a meeting.
Excellent. Which you are. Is there a back room where you're meeting, or is it kind of just to get in the front door as a security?
I just locked the door. Yeah,
Oh no, what would be really cool is you have to go up the stairs and you have the big glass office.
Overlooking the warehouse space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Oh, nice. Well, that sounds cool as heck. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's where you find yourself once the front door is locked. Proceed up to the glass framed in office overlooking. Is that the freaking Ark of the Covenant? No.
Well, no, it's the box. I don't keep anything like that here.
That would totally break.
I deal with creatures, not items.
What's in the box? What's in the box? Movie reference. Don't worry about it. So, all right, you find yourself all in a quite a nicely, set up a little glass office. What are you talking about?
Well, we in all likelihood found some genetic material from Mr. Schmidt, so it should be easy tracking him if he's alive.
I like the caveat. Oh,
is there
Yeah.
is there reason to suspect he's not?
The fact that in his place I found 2 chalk outlines on the floor from where they were covered dead bodies.
Well, then it must not have been. Well, I doubt it would have been a supernatural crime because they would have called me, certainly.
Well, that
Or
were
competitor.
2. It kind of implies either, I mean, somebody, maybe both of them, perhaps they just killed each other. But yeah, there were a few, although an assassination does sound likely, given that I mean I'm no expert. I've never been one for your European book learning, but they had some kind of rag there that smelled of something not good. Maybe it was like one of them rags they put over people and knock over people's faces in the old movies, knock them out. But I don't know what that stuff smells like, so I don't know if it was for certain. I didn't want to move it. The cops get pissy when you do that when they're not looking. But yeah, there were definitely two dead people, and signs of a struggle. There were footprints. Whoever did it was wearing shoes. So
Well, that rules out some creatures, yes.
Like unicorns.
Yes, I did speak to Malcolm in the park, and he said that they knew of this Jason, but they were putting off their Fae relationships and trying to live as immortal and to perform art. When they were known as a Fae, they were called Borslander.
Mm.
Still don't know why we were sent after this man. Do we? Does it seem like if he has no connections to the Fey world, why would he be connected with a kidnapping of a future Queen of Winter?
Like, who's the no with Faye?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Well, I guess we'll have to hope he's alive and ask him.
so what sort of ritual are you going to be performing, and do I need to make any precautions?
No, it's quite simple. I'm just going to be tracking him. I'll learn the location. If it's in a morgue, we'll have our answer. If it's not, then we can have some hope. Should I do it now?
Well, sure. And, I just kind of point to the table like, is this, do you need more space? I mean, we can certainly draw a circle on the ground down there, but, you might have to wipe up some stuff first.
Barnaby,
like a bad movie theater.
You are disgusting. Don't you even have like a janitor? Doesn't Lars clean up after you?
Scott, because this is just one of my normal spells.
Yeah. So to do this, you just basically have to channel to get hold to spend on this.
Yes. I was just wondering because in my sanctum I have a focus circle. I don't know if that would give me any bonuses, but I think it should be okay. Yeah, I'm going to roll for channeling.
All right. Roll plus spirit, please.
Okay. That's an 8, which makes it a 10.
Ooh, a 10.
Get
All right.
way more magical juice than I need.
yeah, exactly. Don't explode. All right, so that gives you 3 hold, which is good, and your hold lasts till you spend it or the scene ends. So that's kind of just to keep in mind, you can spend it to cast any spell you have per spell's details. And what you're trying to do is a tracking spell. So basically, all it says is spend 1 hold to learn the location of a specific person. You must have a personal object belongs to the target or recent leavings, etc., etc. So why don't you tell us what does that look like? All this, the channeling, the spell itself.
I think she just sits down and on the ground in like a meditative pose. I think she has probably some chalk in her pocket that she uses to like draw out a couple of sigils to help herself. But it's not a very elaborate ordeal when it's this kind of more casual magic. If it's a spell that's been planned for weeks, then she would be in her focus circle in her sanctum.
Cool.
Okay, and I will take the yeah, there are 2 hairbrushes. So I guess we'll learn 2 locations. Yeah, I'm going to I can't tell which one is his, right?
Nope, just tell this
Nope.
is connected to somebody.
Okay, then I'm going to figure out where the location of the person, the person with the first hairbrush.
Okay. So yeah, all that takes, you'd already done channeling, so all it takes is spending hold. So yeah, you kind of examine, the first one, put it within the sigils. Maybe it even starts like smoking a little bit, and then like it's gone like a piece of flash paper. And you in your as the kind of the smoke drifts up from it to you, you get this image in your mind. And this image in your mind, the rest of you actually sees played out on a like on the smoke itself. There's like there's an incredible amount of smoke coming off this little tiny piece of hair. It's almost acting like a screen. You know how you have like smoke in the air and you play the projector. It does that. This is kind of the effect you're seeing. You do see in this one you see like a vision of like this sign. Well, actually, it starts off with all these seats, and like at first you're all like, are those pews? No, those are like movie theater seats. And then your vision kind of accelerates, and next thing you know, you're outside looking in, and it says the Orpheum Theater.
Okay. I will pick up the other hairbrush and repeat the process.
Okay.
I think she physically gets up and sits down in another location and draws up, like starts the entire process all over again.
Right. Okay. Excellent. So yeah, you do it again, and this time where there were seats in a theater, you see like you're inside a building. It's a tall building. You're like on the, it's hard to say how high, but you're actually looking out glass windows, and it's almost like the vision you get is like it's almost like instead of like before where you're kind of flying over the seats and then you saw outside. This one is like you're almost going through the pane and then looking at the building from the ground up, just kind of seeing this scene of this tall building. It has to be like 30 stories tall, made of glass. And I'll say that you're all familiar enough with it. It's called like the Epic Building, named after like one of the bigger companies that works there or holds it. So yeah, it's like the Epic Building is the name of the place.
Okay. Well, it looks like we've got our 2 locations. Who's heading where?
I guess I will head out to this Orpheum, I guess. Feel a bit less out of place there than I would be at some rich glass skyscraper.
Why were there 2 brushes?
Because Presumably 2 people were living there.
Well, there were 2 body outlines, so...
If the body outlines were them, I don't think they would be the theater and a tall building. I mean, perhaps if someone dragged their dead bodies there?
Maybe, but... yeah, no, that's...
Interesting.
So you tell me. This is where we kind of create the fiction. So Florence, do dead people, are they affected by the spell, or is it specifically locate live person?
It works on dead people because the remains have to, or like the hair in this instance needs to be relatively fresh for the spell to work. And so I think if they're recently deceased, then it would work. If it's been a long time, then the energy is gone.
Gotcha. Cool. So now we've created part of the fiction. Now this is true in our world for the rest of this campaign, where we do this campaign way. So I hope you kind of see how neat this is, that you as the players get to create the rules of the world and stuff like that. Cassie hasn't had a whole lot of screen time. So Cassie, is there anything you want to do before we end? We're pretty much at time right now.
Not really. I can't really think of anything I would want to do.
Okay. Yeah, and you're taking stuff in. There, you being there is, again, as important as these other 3. So now you have the information. We can figure out what's going on next time. Do you want to split the group? Or do you want to go all at once at full strength? Which will get you killed.
All right, gang. Let's split up.
Well, obviously, we just go 2 by 2.
I can't guarantee that they'll stay at these locations for long, so you'd either have to go pretty much immediately, or I'd have to do the spells again.
Excellent. And as we've seen, the at least the DNA that you use is gone, burned up. So cool. All right, good session 1 of 2 of a 2-shot. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens next time. Let's see here. There is an end of session thing, but I don't really care about it, since it's about like, how do you feel closer to another circle right now, and like it's irrelevant to this 2-shot.
Feel less close to the Fae, so wild. No.
Yeah, it's the only circle you've really talked to. Yeah, I suppose there's been some mortal actually. But yeah, so good session 1 of the 2-shot. Again, I hope everybody's seeing how easy it is to create a character and kind of get a story for them. Again, I like that they're keeping like the questions to kind of get you in character, and then the kind of the debt questions to make links to each other. Because again, when my original Urban Shadows campaign was, Steve was actually one of the players, and the players were kind enough to decide that they just like did stuff with each other. So I didn't have to create a reason for them to really need to be together. But it's cool that they've created these hubs and these other intertwining reasons, and that kept the depth questions around to kind of keep that to help you. So I'm very much looking forward to 2nd edition being launched in, unfortunately, November, December, probably December of this year. But there it is. So before we go, as always, I like to show appreciation for my awesomest players, Eva, and say goodbye and wish them well. So Cassie, thank you for joining us at the last minute instead of just being our cheerleader. You're an awesome cheerleader. We like you better as a player. It's awesome to have you around.
Okay. I will see you later, peoples.
Yeah. And Danielle just keeps, like, she just showed up on the scene and she's like, yes, I want to participate. Yes, I want to participate. Yes, I want to participate. Yes, 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 yes. So I've let her because she's awesome. And products we get to hang out. So that's awesome. So thank you for coming, Danielle. I appreciate it. Awesome. And Steve, who's looking like it's 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night where he is and time to go to bed. And last but not least, Jason, my personal emotional support Canadian.
See, cup empty. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
1.5 quarts of tea.
Oh my God!
Well, Oh, it's a
Danielle took it to
24
heart.
cup. I
No, I was
drank
talking. Do you
it
see
and I
Danielle's?
refilled it.
Did you see her thing? Show that again.
I'm one
Oh my
upping
God.
you.
How big is that? About what, 2 liters?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. It feels like a lot. All right. And on that note, thank
It
you.
looks beautiful, but it would be more beautiful if you emptied it.
Next time
Next
I'll
time.
empty it.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be making millions if I was sponsored by like water. Hi, welcome to Scott's Case Files. We're sponsored by water and hydration.
Uh,
Hey,
But no.
if we were getting sponsored by water and hydration, I would want a cut.
Yeah, I would agree. You would probably get the lion's share of that one. You're the spokesman for hydration for all intents and purposes here. So, and I'm Scott's Case Files. Definitely subscribe, follow all the good stuff on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, and all kind of stuff is in the about the social media stuff. So awesome to have you. Love hanging with all of my players. Awesomest people ever, and I'm very thankful every day that they get to hang out with me, or I get to rather that they allow me to play with them and hang out with them. So that's awesome. So do what you do. We're after time now. So have a great night, and we'll see you next Thursday for the session 2 of the 2-shot, and see what the hell's going on, and maybe put 2 and 2 together, or 4 and 6, or whatever, square root of 0. So otherwise, have a great week and take care and go forth, do no harm, and all the good stuff. And bye for now.
Goodbye, all you happy people, and also Scott.
I'm always happy. I'm good.